Okay, you should be able to hear me now.
Yep.
How's that sound?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Good. Still.
Camden County traffic.
There we go.
Overhead the field, 1,500 feet. Departing the area southwest.
That's way better. I'm still not hearing my radio. Can you hear me okay? This thing's got to be like right on your mouth to work, so try that.
Okay.
Say so. I can just barely hear you. Give that another try.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I'm going to turn the squelch off and the volume up. Can you hear me? Anything any better?
I can't hear you now.
I am.
That's weird. Just going to check this radio. Check.
Okay, that was loud.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody's got this set on something weird here.
Yeah, say I'm on Unicom. What's up?
That's really strange because I can't. Let me see if I can hear the.
Wind variable at 0.4. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 3.4 Celsius. Dew point 19 Celsius. Altimeter 3001. Remarks. Density altitude 2,200.
So let's try. You have volume controls on your headset, so there's 2 knobs on each ear. Give that a try first. Is that doing anything? Nothing? I wonder if it's this jack. I'm going to plug you in down here. You getting anything better now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
I wonder if maybe that jack's not working. That's okay, because I'm going to be running the radio, so that works fine. I just don't know if the GoPro is going to pick it all up, but it should. I'm going to try and get us rolling in a really fast time here. That guy's just getting out. Beacon on, mixture rich, throttle, primer. We already did all this. Oil pressure, mixture lean. Fuel pressure looks good. We have full fuel. We have fuel pressure, and our ammeters still discharging a little bit. We got a lot of stuff turned on. Flaps, radios, transponder, ATIS. I'm going to grab the ATIS here. Zero, zero, one. That's set. 190. Hey, we're gonna get rolling here so you stop sweating because you can see now what I was talking about, right? Can you hold this for me? I want to get us cooled off here. So it looks like that. See, the windsock is now favoring. The small end is pointing that way. So we're gonna go down there. Take off into the wind. And we're going to leave your window open. And normally, flight instructors would open the doors a little bit, but that creates a whole nother problem. You're just going to lose a couple pounds here, I think. So put this a little closer because I'm still not hearing you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so we're going to try to get airborne, because as soon as we take off, I think a lot of this, you got sunglasses on, so we'll leave these up. As soon as we get airborne, a lot of this heat will dissipate really quickly. My iPad is now working the way it should now that we're picking up Frisbee.
You're steering right now with your feet.
Yeah, and I'm also playing with my iPad, so sorry, I'm trying to just keep us moving here. So we're going to go down here and do a run-up. We're just checking the engine. So this guy's going to do the same thing. He just started that plane, so I know he's got to do the same thing. I'm probably going to do mine a lot faster than him. So it's going to be important that he doesn't park in front of us and hold us here for 10 minutes. I'm assuming that's a student. So my run-up is probably going to be maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and his is probably going to be about 3 minutes. That's the way it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be really careful.
Right.
Yeah, some days you come out here and you're doing flight instruction for like 8 or 10 hours during the course of a whole day, and it just gets, you know, you lose like 10 pounds out here. Okay, so he's doing the right thing. He's leaving me some room. I don't think he knows I'm here, but I am. So I'm going to grab this real quick because we're going to be done really fast. So we're right here. So I got all that. Density altitude is 2,100. Engine run up, parking brake. I'm just going to hold the brakes. Flight controls, free and correct. So we just want to make sure the iPad, me and you, and there's no control locks there. Fuel quantity, we have full and full. We visually checked it a minute ago. Fuel pump is on for the run-up. Fuel valve, fullest tank. We're going to leave it where it is. Throttle, 2,000 RPMs. So we're just going to put this right here. And we're going to be checking the ignition. Mags. We're looking for about a 50 to 75 RPM drop on each magneto. So there's 2 sets of mags in this plane. 2 mags and 2 sets of plugs. So that's good and within range, so I'm going to make sure we're back on both. We're going to check the ammeter. The ammeter's still showing, that's actually showing like 12 volts right there, so that's where it's supposed to be. Carb heat, we're going to put the carb heat on right now, and we should get a little drop in RPMs. It's usually 30 to 50, that looks good. He's getting right out of here, so that was fast. Suction gauge in this plane is over here. It's on 5, that looks good. I can't see it from here. Fuel pump is coming off. Throttle back to idle. So we want to make sure when we bring this back to idle in our landing condition that the engine doesn't conk out. That looks good to me, so I'm going to leave it right there. Friction lock on this plane is right here, so I'm going to adjust that. Parking brake is off. The parking brake is right here, so that's off. We want to make sure the flaps are set to 0 for the moment. Before takeoff, flaps 0. Trim wheel set for takeoff, so trim wheel's right here. This looks good to me. Mixture is full rich. There's full rich. Fuel pump is on for takeoff in this plane, which seems a little odd, but carb heat is off. We got that off. Lights are on. Navcom we got right here. I don't know, that guy's not responding, but we'll try it again in a second. Carb heat, lights, heading indicator, Navcom, we got 1228, we're on COM 1 here. We should be good all the way around here. It's on transmit. Doors latched. And we're going to reset this timer. We're going to rotate at 60, climb out at 76. Ready? I'm going to leave that over there. So I'm going to let you jump on the controls with me. I'm just going to do a quick check. The important stuff is mixture, flaps, and carb heat, and that we have fuel. So you can put your hand on the yoke, and I'm just going to make sure nobody else is landing here. Yep. I'm not liking the fact this guy's not calling me back, but we'll try again. Okay. We're going 60, and 76. So we're just going to keep your feet off the pedals if you can. I'm going to steer with my feet. We're going to get on the center line. We're going to keep an eye on the airspeed indicator, and we got wind coming from our right to our left. So there's 60. We just lifted those up a little bit. I forgot the air sick bag, so see how cool it got really fast?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I wanted to get out of here, because this is really horribly hot right now. So it's going to be a little bit turbulent till we get up to altitude here. We got our GoPro running. Just going to have a quick look at that. We're 11 minutes into it. That's perfect. So we got a positive rate of climb. We said we want it to be at 76. We're at 85. That's good. Flaps are 0. We're going to leave the fuel pump on for a minute till we get up to a few thousand feet. And then I'll let you fly the plane. I'll just give you headings. But, well, let's get up to 1,000 or 2,000 feet first. See that little water tower out in the Pine Barrens out there?
Yep.
We're just going to fly in that direction for a second. I'm going to go over to 122.8 here and see if I can pick this guy up on. We're still climbing. I pulled the power back just a little bit till we get up here. I still don't feel like I'm getting a proper radio signal here. I'm gonna go over to McGuire real quick and just, while we're climbing out here, 126.475. See if we hear anything there. Okay, so the ditch intersection we were looking for is actually just a little bit off of our left side, I believe. My iPad got really warm. Should cool off now that we're airborne, but we're just going to make a little bit of a left turn here. That's our practice area technically over there, so that's Shawnee High School right there. That's Chemung Tabernacle. I'm going to go ahead and pull this power back. We're at 2,000 feet. Now you can stay on the yoke with me. There's nothing's going to happen. It's a little bit hazy up here. Normally you can see, that's the New Jersey coast right out there as far as you can see.
Okay.
So I'm going to trim this nose down. So we're at 2,200 feet right now, going up to 23. So we're going to probably level off. So we're just about to the ditch intersection I wanted to go to, which is right out here, probably near where that horse track is. We're going to head a little bit south to Vineland, which is right down there. And then we're going to go out. The Mulliga River ends up down where you can see this open area down here.
Yep.
It's really hazy today. Whenever it gets really warm like this, can you hear me that checklist? Because when we get to 2,500, we're going to do a quick cruise checklist. We're actually climbing at like 90 knots, so we can, if you can just hang on to this for 1 second, just hold it right there. I'm going to do a cruise checklist. So we're going to get fuel pump off. We're going to set our throttle at 2,300 RPMs. Mixture we'll leave alone. Flaps are up. Ammeter is right around 10 or 12 volts. That looks good. Landing light we're leaving off. Rudder trim, flight pan following. And switch tanks we're going to do, we'll wait 30 minutes. Okay, so we actually blew through our altitude here. So I'm going to just take a little power out. We're going to go down a little bit. The ditch intersection is right in front of us. As soon as we get there, we're going to turn right, and the Hamilton Airport is right over there. We're not going to land. We're just going to fly toward it. And then we're going to head over toward the Mullica River. So we could actually stay here at this altitude, 2,700. This isn't going to hurt. So this is the throttle. So we're just going to trim the plane so that we can maintain, let's go to 2,500. So just go ahead and very gently push down on the yoke. Everything we do in this plane is going to be really gentle maneuvers. So there you go. So you're descending a little bit, like 100 or 200 feet per minute. So that's good. And I'm right here. I'm not going to let you do anything dangerous. And just keep it coming down for a second. I'm going to move this thing. It's gotten a little bit hot. So you're flying a plane right now. Don't forget. I always have to remind the students when they're flying and when I'm flying, because sometimes it's not crystal clear. So I think we're out of the way there. So there we are at 2,500, so we're just going to leave. And we have the plane trimmed pretty good. So if you let go of the yoke real quick, I have the plane, and I'm going to let go. And you can see if we trim this so the nose is right at straight and level flight, this plane almost flies itself, right? And it's a little bumpy out here. So now you can see we're descending a little, so I'll just add a little trim up. You can jump back on here. And I'm just staying here with you. Yeah, I think my iPad got so hot it's not enjoying the ride anymore. That's the problem when you get these things really hot. Okay, so we're gonna head, I don't know if you can see this, I'm gonna point the plane right at it. This rectangle of what looks like grass right in front of us,
Yep.
Not the one going this way, but the one going that direction, that's Hamilton Airport. Normally you can see that from 15 or 20 miles away and you can see the runway, but can you see where the runway is yet? It's starting to become clear.
I can see it.
The runway is the asphalt patch on this side.
Yeah.
So we're just going to try and stay at, I'm going to let you do this. We're just going to try and stay at 2,500 feet. We're going to fly right over the airport, and then we're going to head over that way toward the Mullica River in Batstow. If you look down here, you can actually see the Mullica and the Wading River, I think it is, go in a, or no, it's actually the @ Is it Mullica comes out of @ I can't remember now.
Yeah, Mullica comes, @ Lake.
Turns into Mullica.
Yeah.
So then the Wading is on the other side, and the two rivers converge down near Batstow, which is Batstow Lake is right there in the mansion, and then they go across the county road and the dam and right out to the Great Egg Harbor.
Right.
So you're doing fine. So this is the good part. Usually on a discovery flight, we can get somebody flying the plane in about 10 minutes, and you've done perfectly well today doing that. And I'm just going to see if I can get this iPad overlay off. Turn the radar off, that's what's screwing it up. And the clouds. We don't need either of those, and we don't need icing today. There we go. Yeah, iPads don't like to get hot. Found that out the hard way.
Yeah, I've had a few phones where if you just leave them out like a car, they'll
Shut off.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem up here. I mean, I know they make fans for them, but they also, these cases we're using right here. So we have another plane that's 700 feet below us, right off your wing out here. So I'm going to see if I can find him. There he goes. Look out your shoulder behind us. Look back. You see him?
Yeah.
Down low. So we don't want to get any closer. He's probably going to Hamilton. So we're going to get on the Hamilton frequency and see if we can just listen here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I hope he sees us. He's probably landing. He's now 1,100 feet below us, and he looks like he's straight in for runway 21 or 23, whatever it is.
He's down now.
Okay, we're gonna make a left turn right here, about 90 degrees. So just real gentle, I'm gonna stay on this with you. We're gonna use our rudder to do this. So we see this ball right here.
Yep.
Whatever side that ball spins out to, we're gonna add a little rudder on that side. So right now, if we make a really shallow turn, we're not getting much reaction, so that's good. And we're gonna have to fly below the Atlantic City airspace or above it. So to go above it is 4,000 feet. So we're probably gonna go below it. So in order to do that, we wanna descend now to about, I don't know, we need to be at about under 1,300 feet. So in order to do that, we're just gonna take some power out. And we won't.
We'll enter the base, runway 25.
Okay, now I'm hearing everything, so I don't know what was going on with that radio. I'm going to go over to Atlantic City approach to 1264, I think it is, 1246.
And E02 Foxtrot off, contacting go approach. Number 381, Christian 318, Delta Alpha contact, I'm sorry, maintenance frequency. Stay with you, 8 Delta Alpha.
So I'm just turning a little bit away from, I'm going to turn this squelch back on. We're going to take some power out, descend down to 1,100 feet on a heading that keeps us out of this airspace, which right now, this heading right here, we're just going to be, see where the, do you know where Viking Yachts is?
Yeah.
I don't know what the town is right there, but where that big bridge is, there's a metal bridge that goes over the Mullica. If we stay just a little left to that body of water, which is the Mullica River coming around, we'll be outside of Atlantic City. There's Atlantic City International Airport down there. There's Atlantic City skyline, you see it in the haze.
That's it.
Normally we would be able to see everything. You'd be able to see New York from here. I can see the hangars at Lakehurst. So look at our altitude. We're at 1,100 feet. We're going to add some power back in. I'll let you do this when we climb. I'll let you add the power back in.
Okay.
So right now we just want to stay at about 2,300 RPMs at, I don't know, 1,000 or 1,100 feet. And I'm just keeping an eye out for the airspace because we're gonna fly below the Atlantic City airspace. If you look out your window, that's Batstow Mansion. That's the Batstow Fire Tower, and you're gonna see Batstow Lake and the river off to your left. So we're gonna try and stay at 1,000 feet or so here. So I'm gonna let you hang on to this. I'm just going to keep my eye on you. I'll pull the power back a little so it's a little less bumpy. How's that feel? How's your stomach doing okay?
That's fine, yeah.
Your stomach's good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just let me know if you start feeling queasy because I can't remember where I put the barf bags, but I can't believe I walked away from my car without those. I'm counting on you, though. Okay, so we're going to fly right up the middle of this body of water, which is really just the Mullica.
318 Delta Alpha contact Philadelphia approach.
Just the Mullica River winds. You can see down here. Do you know where the river deck or whatever it is. It used to be the Sweetwater Casino. It burned down and they rebuilt it, so there's a lot of people with boats now coming in here to eat and drink. It's actually a lot of fun down here. Where do you live, in Audubon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right off 295, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, we picked up a little altitude, so there's an airspace above us that's Atlantic City, so that's the Atlantic City International Airport. So their airspace is above us where we are right now, so if we want to go up, I got to call. I got to call this guy on the radio and let him know what we're doing. But right now we're below his airspace, and as long as we're below, and I want to just double check that we're reporting 1070. That says 1070, so that's all good. As long as we're below his airspace, we have no issues. Wow, there's a lot of people down there drinking today. A really lot. So up here, I think the far buildings are Viking yachts where they build all these ocean-going fishing boats and motor yachts. And then they're actually developing all these properties down here. They just basically dug canals, and the Mullica River flows into these canals, and people have waterfront homes magically. So now we're at 1,200 feet. So the floor of the airspace above us is at 1,300 feet, so we don't want to go any higher.
Right.
So just see if you can hold it right here by, if you keep an eye on this is our vertical speed. So right now it says we're going down 150 feet per minute. If you pull back, it'll very slowly, there's a little lag. Now it says we're going up. So we just want to hold it level. When this is at 0, we're neither climbing or descending. So everything looks good. Just try and fly out. See that next white building way out there? This is Viking Yachts, right there. And then the next white thing out there, I think, is the maybe Rutgers Marine Station. I'm not sure. I can't see it.
I think it is, yeah.
It's either right there or it might be over that way, but I think that's Rutgers Marine Station. There's a thing called Seven Bridges Road that goes out there. I've never actually been on the road, but I've flown over it. Okay, so we're getting really close to that airspace. So I'm just going to take a little power out, and let's go back down to 1,000 until we clear this airspace. Then we have a little bit of room to talk without worrying about it too much. So whenever we put the nose down, our airspeed's going to pick up because we're descending, and this thing is affected by gravity. And whenever we put the nose up to climb, we tend to slow up a little bit. So there's 1,100 feet. We'll just level back off here in 2,200 RPMs. Everything looks good. You have the plane again. So if you want, we can try a little bit of turning. So just everything we do here is going to be, 15 to 30 degrees. Very seldom in your private pilot experience are you going to be doing anything that's exceeding maybe 10 or 15, maybe 30 degrees if you're in the pattern of a turn. Unless you're doing a maneuver for your test, which there's some steep turns involved.
Right.
But other than that, there's no, hot dogging or aerobatics involved. We're just learning how to fly the plane and all the rules and navigation and medical stuff you need to know for your private pilot license. So we're gonna keep heading for that white set of buildings right in front of us. That'll keep us out of everyone's airspace. You're doing a good job of holding 1,100 feet. I lost my timer, but we're about 30 minutes into this flight right now. So at some point, normally if I bring somebody out here, we usually go all the way out to the Holgate Island, fly all the way up to Barnegat Lighthouse, and then come back across. We're probably not going to have time to do all that, so we'll probably shortcut it on the back side of the bay here.
All right.
We'll figure something out. We could actually go back the same way we came if you want to. It's not that much more exciting. There is a restricted area that's a Warren Grove bombing range in here. So we can't make a hard 90-degree turn right here. There's a restricted area right here that we need to go around. So probably what we're going to do is we'll go up here a little bit to the Garden State. This is the Garden State Parkway right in front of you here.
Okay.
So we'll probably go up to the Garden State Parkway, and then we'll stay on the bay side of the parkway and go north. And that'll keep us out of the restricted area. And it'll also be a nice ride, and you'll get to see some cool stuff. And we'll fly up over Eagles Nest Airport. So we'll go another probably 2 to 3 minutes in this direction, and then we'll turn left 90 degrees. So you're flying the plane right now, not me, so I'll just keep an eye on you. If you want to see what the rudders do, James, the tops of the rudder pedals are the brakes, so they don't do anything when you're in the air, nothing that's going to impact us anyway. But the bottom part of the rudder pedals, if you have your feet on the floor, if you push the right one in, see what happens. Just gently, not too far. Just go ahead and push it like halfway in. So it doesn't really do a whole lot by itself, but if you turn the yoke and the rudder at the same time, that creates a coordinated turn. So go ahead and push your left rudder in, and you can see it's trying to turn the nose, but the plane only turns if you're using the rudder and the aileron together. So now let's try adding a little, can we do that? Yeah, we can start a little turn right now. If you try to add a little aileron, you see the ball starts coming out, so we need a little bit of right rudder to coordinate that turn, just a small amount. Depending how fast you go and how much weight we have and the characteristics of the plane, you need more or less rudder all the time. And it's, you know, when you're landing is when using the rudder really comes in.
And so if you're trying to go left, you use the right pedal?
You know, it depends. It really depends on the speed of the aircraft, but generally you're going to need some rudder in order to make the turn coordinated. And it could be inside or outside rudder. I mean, we just watch, when we turn this plane, let me just make sure we're outside of the restricted area. When we turn this plane, watch the ball. The ball's kind of went to the inside, and now it's kind of centered again. So you can actually feel it. Now let's make a right turn and see where the ball goes without any rudder. So it's going to the inside here, so we're going to put some inside rudder and center it again. And it's just making a nice smooth turn, so we're not creating any undue drag, and we're also not creating any additional load factor on the plane. Okay, so we're gonna, I actually hardly ever do this, but there is a restricted area now to our left. We're gonna try and go up the backside of the bay here.
Departure, Sierra 541, Whiskey Papa.
So I'm just listening to Atlantic City approach. I'm gonna put McGuire approach in here, because that'll be our next thing, 126475. We don't have to talk to them unless we're in their airspace or we need help, and right now we don't need either. We're still outside of Atlantic City. We're just crossing outside of it. That magenta line is the edge. So now we can climb back up as high as we want. So let's add some power. You're going to add power to about 2,500 RPMs, which is right here. So just gently and smoothly forward, nice and slow until it gets to 25. There you go. And you get used to doing this really fast. That's good. And we're flying right now. We're not in the pattern, so you can take your hand off as a student, just learning the controls. And then we're going to just give it a little bit of nose up trim using the yoke. Not trim, just a little nose up. It's nose up elevator, actually. A little bit of nose up, and we're at 90 knots right now. And this is a nice climb of 700 feet, 800 feet per minute almost. So we'll go back up to 2,000. I'm just going to let you hold that. And you're constantly looking at your airspeed, your altitude, and your vertical speed to make sure that we're not bleeding off too much airspeed while we're doing this.
Right.
You don't want to look up and be like, oh, I'm going up really, because watch what'll happen. If you say, oh, I want to go up at 1,000 feet per minute, you can do that. But watch what happens to your airspeed now. It's just going to bleed off, and the plane will stall aerodynamically. And when that happens, we have a whole nother set of problems, which we're not going to get into today. So let's, you can keep that climb going, just very gently, maybe 500 feet per minute. We're outside of the restricted area. We're flying over another airport coming up here called Eagles Nest. So I'm going to try and keep an eye out for, they actually have skydivers, so I'm going to jump on their frequency 1229. I don't want to be surprised that there's a...
Fantastic. Skydive 1 clear the runway, Eagles Nest.
Okay, so it's a good thing we jumped over here, because there is a skydive plane here, and they are jumping today. But he's on the ground, and I don't see any parachutes. Eagle's Nest. I got a got a Cherokee overflying the field from south to north, east side, 2,000 feet.
Cherokee, you inbound to the field?
Cherokee, we're heading up toward Barnegat Light.
All right, Eagle says traffic, Skydive 1 is going to be departing 1-4 and departing the pattern over the field, Eagle's Nest.
So let me just see where this field is. You'll see the airport. It's going to be right under us here. There it is. Yeah, I just want to see this guy. So we just want to see where the skydive plane is. He said he's departing the airfield. I don't see him, do you? Oh, there he is. You see him on the runway? He just came out. So he may or may not have some skydivers with him, but that's why I wanted.
You check the altitude again. You mean the wind?
So you see him. He just got off the ground.
Eagle Crest, Eagle Crest, Delaware traffic.
So let's keep an eye on him.
6 west of Eagle Crest, 1,005.
I'm just, he probably has a really serious climb rate available in that plane, so we're going to try and stay close to the airport. That way he has the least chance of hitting us.
Traffic, Skydive 1, left crossing, 1-4, Eagle Nest has the Cherokee overhead site.
Copy that, Cherokee. We'll be out of your way in 2 minutes. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, that was good we jumped on his frequency because that's the kind of thing that could cause an accident.
Skydive 1, left Allen, 1-4.
So he's going that way now, so I don't know if he's got jumpers, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure they weren't dumping guys out at 13,000 feet because sometimes they go down to a couple thousand feet before they open their chute and we'd never see him.
Right.
So he said he was on a downwind. I don't see him on the down. Oh, there he is. He's right over that sand pit. Turning back.
Skydive 1, the pattern over the field.
Okay, so
800 left.
we can keep an eye on him. He's no factor. We're outside of the restricted area. We're going to go up a little bit further. You see where these blue lines are right here on my iPad?
Eagle Crest, Delaware.
We got to go up and then around that. So this magenta line is where I was planning to go. We just cut the corner a little bit. We're going to be turning inbound and probably over toward that big clearing in the Pine Barrens. Is I think that's Coyle Field. I can't tell from here, but we'll know in a minute. So this is Long Beach Island, the Causeway Bridge for Long Beach Island. Did we cross it yet? I can't see it. Were we that far south? Holy smokes. Oh no, there's Barnegat Light, I'm sorry. So the Causeway Bridge is right under us. Behind the wing here, if you look back, you see the causeway. I'm going to put your wing down on my side here. You see the causeway to Long Beach Island. So there's Barnegat Lighthouse up there in the distance. So it's got a white bottom, red top, and there's an inlet. Then this is Island Beach State Park, and then Seaside Heights, and it just keeps going and going and going until you get to New York City. Sandy Hook, then the New York Harbor.
Right.
And Long Island goes out that way for, you know, I don't know, 100 and some miles, and then Martha's Vineyard and Cape Cod are out that direction. Which on a clear day you can actually see. You can see all the way out Long Island usually.
Wow.
Okay, so we lost a little bit of altitude there when we were talking. That's no big deal though. We just pulled the power back to 22. I'm gonna lean this just a hair. Everything looks good. So you can keep flying the plane. I'm gonna tell you when we want to turn. You can probably turn 90 degrees. Let's just set this. We're at 4045. I'm going to reset that for you. Let's turn to a heading of 330 really gently. So you just a little bit of yoke and keep an eye on the ball and see what happens. Might go left or right depending on a whole bunch of factors. It looks pretty centered because we're doing a really shallow turn. If we steepen the turn, we might get a different reaction. So we're going to keep coming around till we get to 330. It's actually, desired track says 317, so let's just call it 320. And that should point us right to that clearing I showed you earlier. And when we get there, we'll then get some vectors back to the Flying W, and we have about 15 minutes from there. So this is the Garden State Parkway going south right there. Goes all the way to Cape May, which you can see from here. You look straight down there. Actually, can you see Cape May? Yeah, no, you can't. I'm sorry. Jeez, we can't see any. You can see some haze, not Cape May, though.
Yeah.
I don't think, no. I can see Atlantic City, but not Cape May. Okay, so you're pointed toward the coil VOR right there. That's that big clearing out there. So you see the light green inside the dark green out there?
Yeah.
That clearing, that's where we're headed. This heading will get you there. 310, that works too. That's the parkway going north. That goes all the way up to North Jersey and connects with all the roads going to New York. Lakehurst Naval Air Station, those hangars are visible. On a clear day it'd be a lot more interesting, but those hangars are where they used to store the airships. They still use those, just not for airships. So our airspeed, our major instruments here, airspeed indicator, attitude indicator, altimeter. These are nav heads. These are for navigating by GPS and VOR, so we're not using those right now. Vertical speed, directional gyro, and turn and bank indicator. And then you got a clock, tachometer, what else is in here? Exhaust gas temperature. These are your primary 6 instruments right here, though.
Right.
And pretty soon, you'll be watching, you can see all those without even thinking about it. I'm going to go ahead and put in a direct-to coil here so you can see how this works. This is I just want to make sure nobody's out here. Yeah, we're all by ourselves right now. CYN, CYN. There's coil. We're going to hit enter, enter. And now this nav head just became active. At least it was supposed to. This may be, it says GPS. Let me just take this plane for 1 second from you. I'm just going to turn away from this and see if this nav, oh yeah, it's working. Sorry. You were just on, you were actually on course. That's why it was, so this needle, we just fly the plane to the needle. So as we fly a little bit to the left here, this needle's going to start to center. There's our path that we're trying to get to. And as we get to this magenta line, this needle's going to line up. I'm going to give you the plane back. We're at about 1,580 feet. As you cross, if I hit this again and hit enter, enter, it'll give us a new track and it's centered again. So if we were flying instruments or doing a cross country right now, we'd put a whole flight plan in here, but I've actually got it in the iPad, which is quite a bit easier to use because it's all touchscreen.
Right.
This is not certified though, and this is, so you're allowed to fly the plane using this. This is just for situational awareness, even though this is probably more accurate and easier to use. This is the certified flight instrument for this aircraft. And when the database is updated and it's all working properly, you're allowed to fly this plane in the clouds using that. Whereas this iPad, you saw what happened when we got in, right? It, you know, got too hot and it blinked off. If it did that in the clouds, we'd be dead in 5 seconds. Okay, so see if you can fly me over that airfield right there. You see that big dirt airstrip? That's called Coyle Field, and you've probably driven past it 100 times if you've ever been on Route 72 going to Long Beach Island. It's actually just off the road, and you would never even know it's there, but it's, it used to be an Army airfield, and now it's a New Jersey State forest fire airfield that they use for fighting forest fires and some other kind of training. Yeah, whenever it gets hot out here, moisture starts coming up out of the ground. After, you know, it rained last week, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of moisture in the ground, and it starts to evaporate, and this is what you get on a hot day in the summer. In the morning, it was a little clearer this morning, not quite totally clear. You come out here in the winter, you can see for 200 miles. So we probably can see Philadelphia, not quite yet, but you can still see Atlantic City somewhere over there. At least I could a minute ago. So we're not in anybody's airspace right now. We're about to enter the alert area in about 2 seconds for McGuire. We don't have to do anything, but I'm going to jump back on their frequency.
050 vectors for the left.
We'll just listen.
Approach runway 22.
We're just going to listen to McGuire while we're flying that direction. And we're going to go 119.325 is...
Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 33 Celsius. Dew point 19 Celsius. Altimeter 3000. Remarks. Density altitude 2,100.
Okay, so we're right over top of Coyle Airfield now, so we're going to make another turn to the right to, I don't know, maybe a heading of 310. I don't know if you can see out your window. Actually, let me grab the plane real quick. I want to show you something. I'm going to take the plane this way, kind of abruptly, and then I'm going to bank back on your side.
470, center maintain 3,000.
And if you look down there, you're going to see a little white thing on a saucer. Looks like a bowling pin on a saucer. That's the VOR navigation radio at Coyle Airfield. And that's what we would be picking up if we were flying to here using radios instead of GPS.
6 to center maintain.
And the airliners still use those.
040 vectors for the right downwind visual to 22.
Okay, I'm going to give you the plane back. This heading you're on right now looks good. We're just going to pretty much fly. This says we want to be 305. This says 305, so I'm going to reset this for you. If you fly a heading at 305, we'll be back at the Flying W in, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. We're 20 miles out. We're not going that fast. We're only 90 knots right now. We can go a little faster, but it doesn't really do anything for you.
Slow climb in VFR right now, 4,400.
This is a sand quarry over here, and they've been digging sand up over here for, I don't know, 20 or 30 or 40 years, I guess.
10856, Atlantic City.
We're about half a mile.
So that's Lakehurst right there.
Ocean City.
Lakehurst Naval Air Station. That's McGuire, that big clearing over there. And Philadelphia should be like right off our nose somewhere, and it'll just pop out of the haze in a couple minutes. You'll be able to see the skyline.
And ident 856.
Philly's going to be right over that way somewhere, so you keep your eyes on that side. You'll see Philly come out of the haze. Pretty far away yet. How's it feel?
Feels great.
Yeah. So you can see when you're flying like this, like most of what you're doing is
ultimate 60. VFR traffic's at 1 to 2 o'clock in about 4 miles. Still slow southbound, indicates 5,000 now.
Okay, so that's not us. So most of what we're doing out here is just trying to keep the plane at a constant altitude and make sure we're not overstressing anything.
Radar contact, altimeter 30.
You know what's a good idea right now? We should change that fuel setting now. So let's go ahead and turn that. I'm going to put the, make sure nobody's in front of us. I'm going to put the fuel pump on, and you're going to reach over and turn it 90 degrees up. There you go.
He's at a 4,400.
And it's going to lock. When you're done, I'm going to reach over and just double check that it's locked. Let me just feel that real quick. I think you got it. I just want to make sure it's not anywhere near the off position. Yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, somebody had written in the squawk book that the ID for that fell off. It says right and off, and the left label is missing. Okay, so we just switched the fuel tank. I'm going to leave the fuel pump on for another 20 or 30 seconds. To make sure that we got a good transfer.
Your front right, 12 to 1 o'clock in about 2 miles, 1,200 indicated.
That's us. Wait, I don't know if that's us or not. We're at 1,600. Do me a favor, just head over just to the right of that body of water. Just you can just point your nose right at that body of water. And we'll put our nose down just a little bit. There you go. That's good. I'm going to turn the fuel pump off, and we're all set now.
Helicopter, low level, opposite direction, inbound from the northeast. You'll be overflying him if you could.
So when we get back to the Flying W, we'll listen to the weather one more time and make sure we're using the best runway. It's going to be a crosswind for sure.
Maintain 3,000.
I'm going to listen one more time.
At 04. Visibility 10.
Look at this. You got a jet. Hang on. I'm going to turn this off. You got a jet coming out of McGuire. He just took off at McGuire. You see him? Coming right at you. So.
Roger, thank you.
If you look out your window,
Runway 470 for the cancellation. You can
I'm gonna go ahead.
in the air.
I'm gonna go ahead back down to 1,500 feet because he's probably gonna be climbing, and we don't want to alarm them because they got a really big aircraft. So there's 1,500 feet. So let's just keep an eye on him. He's probably gonna fly right towards you, heading down the coast. He may be. So let's just take our speed back a little bit. So that looks like a C-17, right? Coming out of McGuire. You see how big it is?
0.3.
So I'm just going to turn a little bit toward him. They're not going to be worried about us because we'll be showing we're in a descent.
6579, you can contact tower 120.
This is a really big plane though when it goes over us.
So turn in base leg to runway 22.
Roger. Looking for that traffic, and we are changing frequency.
So he's 2,100 feet above us and climbing really fast. That's a gigantic cargo plane.
Still on time for all the logistics.
Ornament Jet 6, Roger.
I'll tell you what's really interesting is when you're out here and one of them flies underneath of you.
Downwind, the left downwind for runway 22. Just continue.
Okay, so you can see how they just came off the 10,000 foot runway at McGuire, which is this direction. All right, so we're going to go back to 1,500. You can probably see him out your window if we put
East of the
wing up.
Inbound to line with information to Lambert.
Yeah, sometimes when you're out here at night, you'll see one of them fly below you. Not at this altitude. If you're at 3,000 or 4,000 feet. You still see him anywhere?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's probably climbing up. They're probably going on a mission somewhere tonight. Okay, so we're getting a little too close to McGuire, so we're just about in their airspace. So we're gonna turn back toward Flying W here. I'm gonna put that in here. November 14 KLMN.
We're here, just waiting to check in. 5,200, descending 3,000. We've got weather.
There's Flying W, enter. And it says our heading should be 291. So let's just level off, check our liquid compass. It says 270. So we want to make sure this says 270. This is our magnetic compass, actually 270. And this says we want to be flying a heading of 291. So it says we need to turn a little bit to the right, about 20 degrees. So that looks good to me. Let's just hold this heading right there. That looks like 280.
Number 856, you're going to find the 3,500, correct?
I'm going to do a direct to November 14
Roger.
and activate. And now we're all on the same page here. The Flying W's in front of us, 8.3 miles. You can't see it yet. I see some reflection up there. That might be the solar panels.
5.2 checking in.
Skydive 1 Atlantic City, altimeter 3004.
I'm going to go over to McGuire and listen to them for a minute. We were actually on Atlantic City, 126475. And while we're there, we're going to grab the weather.
100. Automated weather observation.
How's it feel? Good?
213-9er.
This is always fun, man.
Wind variable at 0.
A little bumpy out here today, but nothing crazy. It could get way worse.
Clear. Temperature 33 Celsius. Dew point 19er Celsius. Altimeter 3000.
Okay, 3000. We got that.
Density altitude 2,100.
2,100 and wind.
Automated weather observation 2139er Zulu. Wind variable at 05. Visibility 10.
Okay, so
Sky condition clear.
we got no wind information. That's not good.
Celsius. Dew point 19er.
So we're gonna have to figure this out on our own.
30.
I'm gonna turn this off because that's no longer anything useful to us. We got the altimeter setting. This says wind is light and variable, so that would generally mean we could land either direction we want. I don't hear anybody in the pattern, so I'm just going to listen for a minute. What we could do is just fly over the field and have a quick look at the windsock. I don't even see the field yet, though. That's the first problem. I think we're just coming up over... Where are we? We're still a couple miles out, 5 or 6 miles out. So it's going to be a little bit hard to see the field through this haze, especially from this way. So the problem at the Flying W is when you're coming from this direction.
What's your active runway, Silberg?
the tree line is in the way. So the only thing you can really see is that tent. That big white tent that's in the ramp area. So we're going to try and find that. And there's a lot of nurseries. Oh, actually, I can see the nurseries now. They're starting to come out of the haze. So the airfield's right in front of us. I see the hangars and the cars in that parking lot now. This big field off the end is the far end of the runway. So we'll just fly over. Actually, you know what? I think we'll just enter the pattern like we're going to land on runway 1. And if the wind doesn't look good, we'll just go around and come back. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come out this way. The Vincenttown water tower should be right under us, and it is. I'm going to take a little power out. Flying W traffic, 8126 X-ray maneuvering over Vincenttown. We're going to be inbound 45, right downwind 1, flying W. Okay, so
traffic, Yellow Cub setting up for right base, banner drop 24.
So let's put on some lights, and we'll do a.
There. Skydivers over the field right now. Skydivers over cross seat 13,000 feet forward.
So you can't see the runway or the airport from here, but I've landed here for 10,000 times, so I kind of know what's on this side. These two nurseries here usually have white plastic on them, and you can't see it. So I'm going to put a little bit of flaps in. I just turned the lights on. We're going to get the carb heat on right now. And the airport will start to come into being visible. It's behind this tree line out here. And I can now see the hangars at the north end of the runway and the tent. It's going to be on the wrong side for you, so you may never see it until we get on final approach. We're descending down into the pattern now. We're at 1,200. We want to be at 1,049. So you can stay on the yoke with me all the way down. I just need you to make sure you understand, when we start to land, your heels need to be on the floor and your feet back, because we can't have the brakes on when we land. That's the only thing that could really screw us up. So now, we're inbound on a 45. I can see the tent. Do you see the top of the white tent? We're pointed right at it.
Banner drop 24 Lakewood. Silver traffic, 22 Lima.
So we're at 1,000 feet. We have the carb heat on. Our power's set at 2,000 RPMs. We have 1 notch of flaps. We're in the white arc on the airspeed indicator. Flying W traffic, got a 8126 X-ray Cherokee right downwind, runway 1, flying W.
Still left to right now?
Oh, this guy is...
Cross seat traffic at a KN, high left downwind, 27.
Hang on, I want to make sure. Flying W traffic, is there an aircraft waiting to depart 19?
Yeah, we're holding short of 19 till you guys land.
You know what, if the windsock's favoring 19, we'll turn around. Why don't you guys is the windsock good?
Yeah, both windsogs are indicating 19.
Copy that. We're going to go back over Vincenttown. You guys can depart. Thanks for your help.
All right, yeah, no problem. I will depart runway 19 and stay in the pattern for my Juliet and flying W.
Okay, so see how that works? We didn't even have to do it. We got an advisory. We're going to come back in, and we'll just land on the other runway. No problem. What I don't want to do is for him to take off, though. And now he's in the pattern, and I'm in the pattern at the same time, and we're jockeying for position. So we're going to make a teardrop entry around to our right here. So I'm going to add some power. We still have some flaps in.
Lakewood traffic.
Mixture is full rich. I'm checking the ADS-B to make sure nobody's here.
Inbound 3 miles for runway 22. Forward.
Cross seat traffic at a KN, left base for final, 27 cross seat.
22 Lima, turning base.
All right. Here's the front part. Flying W traffic. 8126 X-ray, inbound on 45 for 19, flying W.
Harper traffic, use caution, Harper, they're jumping.
All right, so you're going to see this guy pop up out of the trees over there at some point. I don't see him yet. Okay, we have gas, undercarriage, down and lock, mixture, full rich, prop, switches, seatbelts. Okay, now the runway is right there. It's going that way. Do you see an airplane that just took off yet? I don't see him on the runway yet, or off the runway rather.
No, I don't see him.
And I don't see him. Oh, there he goes. He just came up. He just came up there. Okay, now we're on a downwind leg. We have 1 notch of flaps. You can see the runway now, right?
Lakewood traffic, yellow show.
You got it?
North inbound at 1,000 for banner drop 24, Lakewood.
I'm going to go ahead and add a second notch of flaps. We're in the white arc because I want to start slowing down here. We're going to put the nose down a little bit. We brought our power back to about 1,700 RPMs. We're descending at 500 feet per minute. That's just a little steeper than normal. We're at 800 feet. We're going down to 4,900 feet. I've checked everything once here. I'm going to check it again. We have gas on.
Liquid traffic.
Undercarriage down and locked. Mixture's full rich. Prop is not a factor. And switches and seatbelts. We got landing lights and your seatbelts on, and the flaps are set for 25 here. We got 2 notches of flaps. Okay, see those power lines? That's our next factor on this landing. So our airspeed's right where we want it. We're 75 knots right now.
Left downwind 27.
I want to find that other plane real quick because he's going to be coming.
Turning left base.
He's not a factor either. See the runway we're landing on right there?
Oh, for Cecil County traffic, RV119 Romeo Golf.
I'm going to add a touch of power. We want to make sure we clear these power lines at about 350 to 400 feet. So I'm probably going to try and get about 400. We don't have to worry about that. The final approach is clear. Flying W traffic, A126 X-ray. We're 1 mile final 19, Flying W. Full stop.
Traffic 54, Echo 1 final for 2.
Okay, we're clear of the power lines, right? I'm going to add the last notch of flaps. We're inside the white arc, and we're just a little bit high, so I'm going to push the nose down so don't fight me when I push this down. And make sure your heels are on the floor and your tips of your toes are pulled back a little. And I'm just going to keep the power set right here. We're just a little bit high right now. So I'm going to come down into the glide slope and then add a little power. There's a red light and a white light. So we're just going to try and ride this down to the ground. The wind is coming from down the runway a little bit from our right to our left.
Navajo's approximately 10 miles, approaching from the north, land at 19, Flying W.
So we're just going to add a touch of power here. And see if we can make a nice smooth touchdown here. That's about as smooth as it gets. So we're going to roll up here, see if we can get off. I don't know if we're getting off the first one or the second one. We might be able to get off here without skidding.
Cross Keys Caravan, left base 27, Cross Keys. Flyer traffic, we're 4 by George, turn left base 19, Flying W.
Cherokee's down and clear, 19, Flying W. Flying W, be advised, deer in the vicinity of the runway down at the south end. You see the deer down there?
I don't see him.
I'm going to get the...
Cross Keys Caravan base, final 27.
Where did we get this plane? Was it here?
It was,
Second one?
it was right here.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like there's enough room there for 2 planes on the outside. Somebody's got to
Spot right here.
Somebody's got to clean this grass up, man. Getting a little ratty looking. Okay, so we're going to try and turn this plane so that it's facing the prop of the plane opposing us, and that should get us pretty lined up. And I'm using a little bit of brake and a little bit of engine power to do that. And that looks good to me. So we'll neutralize the nose wheel. You grab that.
George, turn final for 19, Flying W.
Okay, after landing, flaps, trim wheel. Looks good. Strobes.
Flying W traffic, Navajo on the RNAV approach for 19, Flying W. Approximately 8 miles.
After landing and shut down. Flaps, trim wheel, lights, strobes, fuel pumps off. Shut down avionics master. This is going to come off. Where is it?
I got it. I'm just like talking through this the whole time we're going.